A lot of investors say that Massachusetts is just too expensive to invest in. I would generally agree with them on certain cases. Watch the end of this video. I'm going to go through some really base demographic data that you should be aware of and why Massachusetts is a really strong state to invest in. I'm going to share some figures that I think should make your life easier and hopefully make you a more informed and smart investor. At the end, I'll show you the number that actually matters. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Massachusetts is really expensive. Honestly, it's one of the most expensive real estate markets in the country. Between Boston having all-time high prices for rent and also purchase power, it makes it kind of difficult for your first-time investor to really actually buy something. The reality is the prices are high. I can't pretend they're not that high. Let's just talk about the median price of a house in Massachusetts. It's $660,000 right now in 2026. If you just go north in New Hampshire, you're talking closer to the mid 500s. That's a huge delta for just your first-time home buyers on affordability. One metric that really matters a lot is vacancy rate. If you look at vacancy rate, which is basically is a place occupied or vacant, Massachusetts across the board for just single-family homes, it's 0.5%. We're some of the lowest in the country right now for vacancy rate. Now rentals, the vacancy rate's anywhere from 3.5% to 5%, give or take, depending on the market you're in. That shows you that there's a ton of demand to live in Massachusetts. So what's the story we're really getting at here? Prices are high, vacancy's low. This is kind of base economics. It's supply and demand. So if you're a first-time investor, albeit the market is expensive, but is it a good place to invest in? Well, it's not that cheap. But if you think about it, with supply and demand, you should be pretty proud of that if you're in that market. Think about it. If you have a vacancy at all, it could kill your cash flow for a whole year, depending on the property you're buying. And so the reality is strong demand drives pricing. And guess what? That demand is also something that you're going to be focused on for your investments. There's a massive tenant base too. Just think about how many colleges are in Boston alone. I think there's something like 200 plus colleges at this point, with 35 really main core areas. The reality is there's a constant flow of new people coming in for education that are in the Boston market. Now, let's not even forget the massive industries that are for biotech or technology. Those are companies and corporations to be aware of because they're driving workforce housing as well. So you have a strong tenant-based demand, just as well as you have a strong demand to live in an area that is in Massachusetts. Now, why are people wanting to live in Mass besides the jobs? Well, look at the schools, top schools in the country. There's also healthcare. You're in the coast in the Northeast. There's Four Seasons. If you couldn't tell, there's a lot of attractiveness to living in Massachusetts, making it a great market to be an investor, even if you're a first-time investor, despite the price. Now, something I tell all new investors all the time, there's two things you need to always remember when it comes to investment properties. You gotta remember cash flow and you gotta remember appreciation. Cash flow is basically the net positive money that you're going to make after all of your expenses, and that essentially keeps you afloat. Appreciation is actually how the property appreciates, becomes more valuable over time. I've been talking about supply and demand this entire time. So think about it. If the markets are getting better, look at the last 10 years of appreciation in Massachusetts. It's continued to show strong pull, strong demand with people wanting to work there and go for education. Appreciation looks very positive for the state of Massachusetts as a whole. Now, cash flow is going to keep you alive, but appreciation will make you rich. So it's not about getting rich right now if it's your first property. It's about what's it going to do in 10, 20, or 30 years. That's really the magic that you have to look at when you're buying an investment property. Of course, we have to talk about other markets because Massachusetts is a big state. Cape Cod is not the same as Fitchburg, Massachusetts. So look at Worcester, Lowell, or Lynn in that area, Boston, Fall River. These markets all behave differently. Appreciation ranges across the board. If I have someone that tells me appreciation doesn't matter to me, I only care about cash flow, I'd be like, okay, you should probably go outside of the big market, which is Boston. Boston's a high appreciation market, but typically, in my opinion, lower cash flow unless you have different strategies. So it's something to be mindful of when you're looking at all these different property areas in the state of Massachusetts. Obviously, we can't ignore rent control and what that actually is for the state. We'll find out on the ballot in 2026. But the reality is that Massachusetts, with its high appreciation, halfway decent cash flow markets, depending on where you look in the state, like Worcester or Fitchburg, Lowell, etc., Fall River, it's a great place to invest in. And so if you're a first-time investor, regardless of the price, you should consider the strong economic drivers that are bringing people to Massachusetts. If you found this video great and helpful for you and you're hopefully getting into the real estate investing realm, Please give us a like, share, subscribe, and follow. It helps us grow the channel. We're trying to do this for everybody out there and trying to help a million people reach financial independence. That's what Candor is here for. My name is Andrew Bosco. I'm the CEO and co-owner of Candor, and I want to help you become wealthy. My plan next week is I'm going to show you guys a multiple screen coming up with how I actually analyze these deals if you're looking at getting in the investment realm. I'll kind of show you my live analysis and what that looks like for a few different properties. So stick around for the next video. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.